Good afternoon, and ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this press conference of the 2023 IRENA Assembly. This press conference is live streamed, and I also send a warm welcome to the media joining us from around the world today. We are still waiting for one speaker who is on his way. When His Excellency is coming, he will join us on the podium. Allow me to present our distinguished speakers today. We have Francesca La Camera, the Director General of IRENA. We will have the IRENA Assembly President in a minute. And finally, representing the COP28 presidency, we have Her Excellency Mariam bin Mohammed Zayed Harab Al-Meiri, the Minister of Climate Change and Environment of IRENA's host country, the UAE. Due to urgent engagements, Her Excellency won't be able to stay for the entire press conference, and the more we're happy to have her with us right now. And without further ado, I hand over the floor to our first speaker, Director General Francesca La Camera.
So first of all, for paying so much attention to our assembly and coming here to listen from us. Allow me to special thanks to my friends coming from the States and being here in front of me. We have the pleasure to have a chat in my hotel room in Europe. It's a pleasure to see you again. Where we are with the energy transition, we have said on many occasions.
I know.
We have been clear to say that we are in the right direction. So it's not. Mic is off. It's on now.
Yes.
Okay. I do the other way. I close down. So we have said many times that the direction of travel is clear. So we are inevitably going to a new energy system that will be based largely on renewables, complemented by hydrogen, mainly green hydrogen, and the sustainable use of biomass. This process is simply unstoppable. So the question is not the direction of travel. The question is if this travel is happening at the speed and the scale that is coherent with the achievement of the Paris Agreement goal. And the answer today is simply not. So it will be very important, and we have said in our report many times, and now I understood also from today, that we need to triple our installed capacity every year from now to 2030 to assess in 2030 is still we have the chance to keep the 1.5 alive. So this is very simple and is in front of us. And I think the discussion on the stock take gave the sense of the urgency to act. Dr. Sultan has also, the designated president of the COP, has already said how he sees the importance of IRENA in the process towards the COP28. I can say to you that IRENA will be engaged to be in a narrative that may provide element for the outline of the post-COP28. So we know that the stocktake will have two steps, one where we are, and the other when we discover where we are, what we have to do next. So we will concentrate our analytical capacity to understand what has to be happen next. We will present this already in March, in the occasion of the Berlin Transition Dialogue. We will continue work on a daily basis with our host country to ensure that we can support them in all ways and means with our capacity. We will take profit also the fact that we are friends with the presidency of IRENA, but also with the presidency of the G20, so that we can make our messages to be built and to build the consensus that we need for having successful negotiation in COP28. And naturally, I will be here to respond to your question after my friends will have the chance to present their speeches. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Francesco. Let me also welcome the President of this Assembly, His Excellency Shri Rai Ram Singh, Minister of Power and Renewable Energy of India, and currently also holding the G20 presidency. Please, sir, floor is yours.
Thank you. All the countries who are members of IRENA are meeting together in person all the member countries of IRENA are meeting together in person after a gap of 3 years. Now, these 3 years have been disruptive years because of conflict, because of COVID. These disruptions have led to disruptions in the global supply chain. These disruptions have emphasized the fact that energy security is also an issue. So when we started our deliberations, we noted that as we go forward for the global stocktake, we'll have to keep in mind the disruptions which have happened and the salient factors which need to be addressed as we go ahead on our journey to energy transition. The aspects of access, aspects of energy security, energy affordability need to be kept in mind. In the global stocktake, the preliminary discussions indicated that the one good thing we in IRENA have noted, that one good thing is that now there is consensus across the world that energy transition is absolutely essential. And progress has been made for carrying out that transition by and large in most countries. But every country is on board. Nobody has any philosophical opposition to the need for energy transition. That's a way forward, step forward. The pace has not been what we expected it to be or what we need it to be. Now that is something which we have noted. So the pace has to increase. Now that pace will increase provided finance is forthcoming, at least for the developing countries. The developing countries will need finance. The $100 billion which was committed in the past COPs, that will need to be forthcoming. Access to technology will need to be forthcoming. But with this, the will is there. The will across the world is there to carry out the energy transition. There are challenges. There are technology challenges. Those challenges we shall meet as we go ahead. We are adding renewables. We will be introducing green hydrogen, green ammonia on a large scale. India is already taking it up on a large scale. So are some other countries. So that we have round-the-clock renewable energy and so that we proceed beyond electricity into other sectors for decarbonization. If to proceed beyond electricity into other sectors for decarbonization, you need green hydrogen and green ammonia. It was noted that there should not be trade barriers when we come to the new age materials which are necessary, like new green hydrogen and green ammonia. So the discussions in IRENA today and going forward tomorrow will be critical. Will be critical to charting the new roadmap for energy transition, the new roadmap for decarbonization, which shall include all these, not only renewables, but also green hydrogen, green ammonia, storage. All these are elements of the new energy paradigm. And that is what we shall discuss in the forthcoming 2 days, today and tomorrow. This session is critical because it comes at a time when India is also the presiding over IRENA and will also be presiding over the meeting of G20 this year. And you have COP28 again in Abu Dhabi here this year. And IRENA will be a major player both in G20 energy discussions as well as in COP28. And we expect IRENA to be able to bring forth the issues as well as the answers. That is our challenge in IRENA. We shall do so. IRENA shall do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. And now I hand over to the Minister of the UAE, please.
Thank you so much. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Okay, I'm going to bring this microphone closer. Thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with my colleagues. As IRENA's host country and member and COP28 president, the UAE supports the comprehensive outlook for a just energy transition that really enables a realistic, renewable-centered energy transition without impacting the global energy security. So this approach of energy transition has to be ambitious and pragmatic, as it is an important contributing element to the proceedings of the COP28. It is realistic to say that we need to meet the 2030 timeframe for emissions reductions established by the IPCC. Loss and damage from climate change is impacting people and communities around the world. And it is no more a myth, and it does not distinguish countries, communities, or race. We are saddened by the way severe weather conditions around the world are occurring at an unprecedented rate as the global average temperatures rise. So the COP28 will really further prioritize the need of the world's most vulnerable communities, including working with IRENA, to advance loss and damage agenda. So at COP28, we aim to transform and accelerate climate action to meet our common target. The global stocktake, as you all know, will provide a robust overview. It's basically like a report card. And we will know how effective the global efforts in combating climate change are in reducing the greenhouse gas emissions. Thus, we must utilize this milestone to ensure better, more efficient, and more equitable access to climate finance to implement and enhance mitigation and adaptation measures. So governments, international financial institutions, and private finance will all play a key role. As you all know, this was also mentioned by my colleague, His Excellency Dr. Sultan, we have introduced an innovative financing tool that is the ETAF platform, the Energy Transition Accelerator Financing Platform, which supports its strategic objective of really uniting global efforts to address climate change through the promotion of renewable energy. So ETAF will attract a new joint investment and provide innovation solutions and financing tools to prevent renewable energy in developing countries. During COP27, we introduced a new situation analysis report that was prepared in cooperation with the Global Green Growth Institute to address green financing by promoting green bonds and Sukuk program in the UAE. We see tremendous potential for the development of a domestic green bond and Sukuk market in the UAE. I think it's really important to understand that climate action is not a cost to bear, but it's an opportunity to seize. And so going forward, we hope to see a significant increase in issuance by all types of players. Higher volumes of green investments will not only help us achieve our collective climate ambitions, but will also contribute to consolidating the UAE status as a regional hub for sustainable finance. The COP28 UAE presidency is focused on delivering concrete, pragmatic solutions. We want to keep 1.5 degrees alive, and this means we need to slash emissions by 43% by 2030. Last year, the UAE cabinet approved the net zero by 2050 pathway, and this we demonstrated at COP27 and basically provide how the UAE is taking its action in mitigation, and we're showcasing, or we already know, all our interim targets for all our priority industries. So this pathway really adopts an absolute emission reduction target of 18% by 2030, utilizing the 2019 baseline. So in this respect, this pathway, and as I said, For us, climate ambition is about opportunities. We can see that in a result of going down this pathway, we will be able to project a result in a cumulative addition of 3% in the UAE GDP and create 200,000 jobs between 2025 and 2050. And many of these jobs are in the realm of energy, renewable energy. It's all about carbon capture, storage projects, batteries, hydrogen-oriented projects. We really believe that innovation is key in tackling climate change, and it has designed breakthrough solutions that can really rapidly accelerate what we need. At COP28, this is going to be an all-inclusive COP. This is going to be a COP where we're going to be showcasing solutions, real pragmatic solutions, because this is what we need to bend the curve in our climate action. And so with that, I want to thank you all for being here with us. And thank you again. And I'm sorry, but I have to run to a next commitment. But I know you're in good hands here with my colleagues. So thank you very much again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency, for coming and taking the time. Thank you so much. And now I open the floor for questions. Please name the media you're working for and to whom you would like to address the question. We have time till 2 p.m. Who would like to start? Please.
Hi, Kira Taylor from the Brussels-based Euractiv. Director General, first a question for you. What international cooperation is needed to reach the renewable energy capacity required for a 1.5 degree pathway, particularly regarding knowledge sharing and everything that's going on with supply chains? And Minister, for you, the EU and India are looking to work together on green hydrogen. What cooperation are you expecting in the coming years, especially given the changes in the energy market following the invasion of Ukraine, and what is needed to enable this? Thank you.
Yes, please. And closer to you.
Okay. To respond fully to your question, you have to read a little bit. In which sense? That we have already made clear that we have to rewrite the way the international cooperation works, because it does not work effectively if we want to stay in line with the Paris Agreement goal. As I told you, we will try to write down a narrative that may be the response to the fact that the stocktake will say to us that we are not in line to achieve the Paris Agreement goal. So we have to build this narrative. And in the context of in building this narrative, we're trying to explain how we have to rewrite the international cooperation, try to focus and try to identify the tasks of the different actors that are in this game. So the multilateral financial institutions, the development bank, the development agency, the government, the regional entities, and other. So we hope that we'll be able to be everything ready for the COP28. I think a first glance of this may be seen by you in the occasion of our presentation of our World Energy Transition Outlook in Berlin at the end of March. We will continue to work with our partners to try to build a consensus around this new narrative, so that we can have, naturally IRENA will not participate to the negotiation, we are not part of that, but at least we can give and provide food and element for the discussion and try in some way, if it's possible, to guide the discussion until towards a good end.
A question about the cooperation between India and the European Union on green hydrogen. That's a very valid question. We have taken up green hydrogen and green ammonia in a big way. We have already plans for manufacturing of 6 million tons of green hydrogen and about 30 million tons of green ammonia. Now the plans for that, the industries for that, etc., they're all in an advanced stage. So we shall be starting the setting up of the factories for that. The European Union will need green hydrogen and green ammonia on a large scale. We have plans to produce at least 50 million tons of green ammonia per year. which would come to about 10 million tons of green hydrogen per year by 2030. The world will need much more, but I think we can scale that up. Our advantage, of course, is that we have established a huge capacity of renewable energy. Our renewable energy capacity is about 166,000 megawatts, and I have another about 70,000 megawatts under construction. I'm not talking about nuclear. If you add nuclear, so I have 177,000 megawatts of non-fossil, and another about 80,000 megawatts under construction. So that makes it 250,000 megawatts. So I have a huge capacity of renewables. I'm adding renewables every year, at gigawatt scale. And our cost of renewables are the lowest in the world. My per megawatt cost of green energy, solar energy is just $600,000, which is the lowest in the world. So our green hydrogen and green ammonia will be the cheapest in the world. Unfortunately, what we have seen from Europe is that the papers which they have taken out, they are, shall we say, they are restrictive of trade. They are, there is some protectionism seems to come out of that. Now that won't work. You see, if we are going to decarbonize, if the world needs to decarbonize, protectionism won't work. It has to be an open trade, free trade, with a free competition.
The gentleman with a grey shirt.
Hello, my name is Kenton Chance of the Caribbean Media Corporation. I have a question for Irina. Small island developing states, such as those in the Caribbean, we face a sort of conundrum. We appreciate the need for renewable energy, but yet our land space is small for solar farms or wind farms. We depend heavily on tourism, and there's this concept that solar farms and wind farms uglify the environment. How do you suggest we balance all of these competing interests? Thank you.
So naturally, this also depends on what islands we are talking about. You know, Irina is especially engaged with the Lighthouse Initiative for all the small islands. And also, if they are small islands, they are different one from the other. So the solutions could be different. I think the Prime Minister Tonga made very clear that they are the islands are small islands, but they are islands that have a large territory in terms of ocean. So that one technology the technologies that could be interesting that there are the ocean technology. So we have to understand how could be the best mix for that. I have to say that we have already achieved some success in having more gigawatts of renewables in the small islands. Absolutely, that is not enough, and we have to accelerate our path on this. This is the reason we have also launched this ETAF platform. We hope that will give us the opportunity to fund a significant number of projects for the small islands and the least developed country. And I'm sure that if this instrument will work, we intend to have a good bunch of projects funded before COP28 and presented in the occasion of COP28. I'm sure that the commitments of country to support the ETAF will become stronger, and we can be more effective in funding projects for the small islands.
Two things which we can look at in the context of small islands. One is offshore wind. Now, offshore wind is very promising. It has a CUF of 60 to 70%. So, offshore wind will be a possible answer depending on what your shoreline is and what the depth of the ocean is as you move away from land. The other, of course, is geothermal. So, these will need to be investigated. As we are moving forward towards energy transition, we are exploring newer technologies. And that is something which will be ongoing. This is a problem which we will have to address as a community of nations with IRENA, with all the countries acting together.
Linda Gasparello, White House Chronicle on PBS. I'd like to ask the Minister and the Director General about the necessity for a technology stock-taking at COP28.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we have added a huge quantity of renewables in our country, and there are technology challenges. One technology challenge is regarding the transmission system. The other technology challenges is regarding storage. So the technology challenges are there. Unless we solve it, we will not have round-the-clock renewable energy, and we will not have energy transition. For energy transition to work, you need round-the-clock renewable energy.
The gentleman with a shirt, the blue shirt, please.
Hi, Mike Scott from Forbes. You talked about, this is a question for the Minister, you talked about issues of energy access, cost and affordability. Do you think that the need to take into consideration those issues will speed up or slow down the energy transition?
The problems of access? Well, the problem of access and energy security is a problem which has to be faced and solved. And we believe that solving the problem of energy access and solving the problem of energy transition can go hand in hand, because the energy access can be provided with renewables. So basically both can go hand in hand.
Thank you very much. We slowly need to wrap up. Second last question.
Thank you. I'm Spanish media, El Español, and I want to ask to Mr. La Camera, what do you think about the responsibility of the European Union in the world energy transition? Or, I mean, what more should the European Union do to help to the world transition, energy transition? Thank you. Okay. Only I want to know what is the responsibility to accelerate in the world the energy transition of the European Union is what I ask. Your opinion.
First of all, naturally, we don't judge what the countries or the regional organization are doing. But if I can be an Italian, that's also European citizen, I can say that I'm proud of what the European Union is doing. We have seen that the European Union has been able to accelerate in 2 months the objectives. They've been one of the first to establish a fund for the just transition to support developed countries. Part of their efforts and also the system for the permit is allowing country to have money to invest in their own country, what I was doing when I was in Italy, using the money coming from the bidding for making cooperation, international cooperation. So as far as I can say, I think European Union is doing what it can do, because any one of us have limitation. But I am proud as a European citizen of what they are doing in the European Union.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have to slowly come to an end. Last question, please.
Alessandro Farrugia from QN Italy for Francesco La Camera. What's the effect of the energy crisis created by the war in Ukraine? Did it slower or accelerated the energy transition?
We discussed this 2 times with the minister. Naturally, in the short term, we may have assisted with the disruption of the supply chain. Also, is a small slowdown for the transition. But in our point of view, if I can speak also in his name, we talk about this energy security problem that now is becoming the predominant one. And the energy security will finally push country to become more independent, and to becoming more independent means having more actors in the market, so means going to a decentralized energy system, and this is only possible if we go to renewables. Naturally, with the complementary storage, with the updating and renewal of the grids, But the inevitable in the medium long term, this crisis is the last lesson that the country are receiving to become more independent and working for a system that is more decentralized.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
very, very much. This concludes our press conference. We will issue a press release shortly on the global stocks stake session this morning. And I thank you all for coming and wishing you a very inspiring IRENA assembly. Thank you very much.